Hello everybody, this is Freebird, formerly known as Boybird, and this is...
I just noticed this common blue bottle. They're native to eastern countries.
Function Override is a small indie animatic series created by IsuruFO, which follows the main protagonist IO5 across a post-apocalyptic wasteland. The creator said the series was based off of many of Simon Stalenhag's works, and I totally believe that. The atmosphere of this series is just a little unsettling, but that just creates a lot of mystery. I won't be going too deep into the episodes, but I'll be listing off reasons why I like Function Override so much. Massive disclaimer. Anything I say is not 100% accurate and is me simply speculating. This series is still ongoing, so don't base your understanding off of mine. Let's start off with a brief summary. IO5 is a robot built for unknown reasons. However, he is very curious and intelligent. Being about 8 years old, he travels around trying to find more about his origins before he gets kidnapped by a man named Michael and his accomplice Alexandra. There is also a subplot revolving J46, or the Hermit, which we do not know much about currently. As of now though, I feel like IO5 is much more interesting, but that's also because there is more episodes starring him. Now with that out of the way, let's start with reason number 1. That being, the atmosphere. The atmosphere, as I mentioned before, fits the tone of the story very well. It feels empty and abandoned, like a great calamity struck Earth, yet we don't exactly know what happened. We get hints in the latest episode. One of the characters say that a flood destroyed Sue, one of the most complete Tyrannosaurus skeletons to date.
That's Sue. They didn't have time to preserve the original fossil before the floods came in the 2030s. It was nearly unsalvageable.
There is also an organization called the Bandits, although I think they aren't the ones who are responsible for the calamity. I think they are there to salvage whatever they can, through violence of course, as well as to act as the series' outlaws. They seem like a joke at first, especially since their name called the Bandits doesn't seem so threatening, but that name gets repeated a lot through the series, so definitely carry some sort of importance. Isuru conveys a sense of emptiness so well with the atmosphere of the series. There are cyborg dinosaurs roaming around, empty parking lots and neighborhoods, and just vast areas with nothing in them.
Where specifically am I?
A corpse of a dead world is probably one of the best ways to put it. Not to mention the lack of dialogue in these scenes also help to convey this eerie sense.
They left me in the middle of Shitsville fucking nowhere with you!
There is clearly a deeper meaning in this world, and I really want to find out what exactly that is.
And I'm supposed to... Whoa, watch where you're pointing that thing!
Before I get into how the characters are written, I want to delve into the characters' design for a brief moment. Each and every single one of the robot characters literally radiate passion. They look so cool with their joints, armor plating, etc. drawn so well. So well in fact, that many of his designs have inspired a lot of mine. My personal favorites of course are IO5 and this raptor mecha called Devil Dog 00, as seen in screen. Isuru is a master at robot character design, as evident from his many Transformers work as well. You guys should totally check his channel out. His human characters are also good. They don't stick out as much and just feel like ordinary people, which I feel like is the best way to go about humans, as they don't feel so over-designed as so much to ruin the immersion of the world.
Everything alright? Yeah, everything's fine. Actually, can you cook?
Now, for the writing. Most of this segment will be focusing on IO5, as he is the main protagonist, and has the most screen time and characterization. IO5 tells a story of purpose. Imagine finding out that your life was a lie, that your previous 4 predecessors were killed in order to create you. He struggles in finding what he was made for. He says he was built as a combatant, but also as an archive, and even he is not so sure about that. In the latest episode, he says he is curious, but why would a machine made for ripping apart others need curiosity? All they need to be is deadly. Don't get me wrong, his reinforced armor, spinning blade shotgun, and high skills definitely prove he is deadly. But I find it troubling that a machine built for dispatching others has the need to be curious. Even though IO5 struggles with finding his purpose and origins, what will he do with this information? What will he do with this newfound knowledge in a dead world? It's all useless. The answer is in the very title of the series. The only thing you can do is to override your function. Function override. I feel like this is what the series is telling us to do. I might be overanalyzing, but I like to believe that the series is telling you to do what you want to do, and to not let others dictate what your function is or what it should be. IO5 is the most developed character, but information is also given about the rest of the cast. Also, for very unknown reasons, IO5 is very sought after. One of the characters, which we'll be talking about later, was tasked with dispatching him without fail. Well, as Michael, a human character, kidnapped him. Zachary, what I like to think is IO5's rival, is a very flamboyant android.
Let's get this funeral started!
He works for the bandits and would definitely fit as a JoJo's Bizarre Adventures character. Although he seems to be very unserious, he can lock in at times, and definitely has some ulterior motives. I can't wait to see what this character has in store for the future, especially with the teasers we've been getting for episode 4. Alexandra is one of the few human characters in the series. Unfortunately, the series hasn't progressed enough for me to thoroughly analyze her and the other human character, Michael. However, Alexandra's dialogue does reveal some things about her. For one, she seems to be very close to IO5, more than the other human characters. And secondly, her friend in episode 3 has saved the robot character.
One of my friends was a firefighter. Back when it happened, he had to fight a couple of those aviator drones on his way out. He decided to knock one out and bring it with him. When I asked him why, he said he didn't want to leave his men behind.
To risk your own life to save a machine.
Yeah, well, he wishes he could have saved them all.
Now, robots are obviously not human, but he still called them one of his men. There is also, nut job, an OD type, in which a family has been drawn close to, so much so that when it starts malfunctioning, they plead Alexandra to repair the outdated machine instead of purchasing a better one. They say that it's becoming part of the family.
Have you considered selling it to Mike? You could probably save up and buy a Robo-Rev one.
Yeah, probably. And to be honest, not ready for the change yet. It's obsolete and falling apart, but it feels like it's slowly become part of the family.
Which leads me to my next point, that this series has themes regarding the humanization of the quote-unquote inhuman. It might be me overanalyzing, but I like to believe that this series has themes regarding humanizing the inhuman and finding your purpose, because it's actually kind of heartwarming.
How much is it, Nutjob?
It's $1.
$1 on the house, then.
Voice acting. This segment won't be too long, but man, the voice acting is just top-notch. The series has about 3 main voice actors, 2 of which voice essentially the entire cast. For starters, there's Isuru. He's killing it. His characters sound distinct enough in that they sound like different people talking. Like his child impression is insane.
On Alexa! I think your friend's a giant.
They left me in the middle of Shitsville fucking nowhere with you!
Pomer Bash also does an excellent job, especially in the latest episode. Michael speaks with hesitation, which alludes to the fact that the world they currently in is fabricated. You have to watch the full episode in order to truly understand, especially the post-credit scene.
That's a replica.
Bianca Wallace also does an excellent job performing as Alexandra, She could flawlessly convey emotion, which just elevates her character to a much higher degree.
Ah! Jesus! Mike!
Sneaky little bastards, aren't they?
In conclusion, Function Override is a cinematic masterpiece, and Isuru manages to convey all of this in just 3 episodes. 4 if you count the prologue. The writing and atmosphere are definitely highlights. The art animation is also top-notch. The animation is amazing. In certain scenes, especially with the fight choreography. If you're into post-apocalyptic series and robots with just a touch of existential dread, I would definitely check this series out. I thank you all for watching, and most importantly, please support Isuru on his YouTube. And if you have any spare cash lying around, you can donate to him via Ko-Fi. But simply watching this series would do him great favor. Have a blessed day, y'all. And remember to override your function and override your destiny.